To me, enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to the Indie Wrestling Corner with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host, as always, the queen of the Indies, Tiffany. And today we brought in my good friend. Okay, I'm gonna say it wrong. I don't want to say it wrong. He gave me a whole lesson too, and I'm just gonna screw it up because I'm that nervous to say. So. Okay, he told me it's like so it's like Myung Jae Lee, right? I fucked it up, right?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Myung Jae Lee. Myung Jae.
There we go. It's just so fun. I always like nervous, and we were talking about this before off air pretty much about people messing up names pretty much, and I always like be respectful and like I always act. So let's talk about that, right, before we get into everything else. So
Of course.
yeah, so tell us a little bit, because I'm sure I'm not the only person obviously like with that, but I'm sure there's people that just won't even ask you, right? And then
Of course.
yeah.
So it is a tough name to say because it is a Korean name. So I'm adopted from Korea, so I was born there, but I was raised by Americans when I was a baby. So, and I decided to use my birth-given name as my wrestling name. So that's why I go by Myung Jae. In Korea and like Japan and those Asian countries, they actually say the last name first. So if I were to be over there, it would be Lee Myung Jae. But because I'm wrestle mostly in America and Canada, I decided to like westernize it and I put Myung Jae first. But I noticed that people get that confused too, because then some people call me Myung, or they just call me Jae Lee instead, when really it's Myung Jae as like the first name, and Lee is the last name.
Wow. Interesting.
I know.
It's
hard.
It's hard, like, like pronunciation pretty much for everybody. I give it to the ring announcers out there, like it's oral commentary. Like, shout out to you guys. You guys are the real like MVPs over here, right? So, guys, let me know in the chat if the sound, everything sounds okay. I just want to make sure everything is good on my end, because I changed a couple of settings. It should be good. I did a test record before, so, and you hear me fine, right? So we're good, right? Okay, perfect. So, but guys, if you're new to the Under the Rope series, here I interview everything independent wrestling, whether it's wrestlers, promoters, referees, backstage. I got you covered. If you guys got any questions, feel free, drop it into the chat. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer all of your questions. So I try to change up like the podcast a little bit for everybody. So I kind of want to like start off with some fun pretty much. So we're going to talk about ice cream, because you can see we're in the ice cream parlor pretty much in my background. I'm living for all your photos on social media having your ice cream, whether it's like after wrestling, before whatever it is, there's photos everywhere. Having ice cream.
It kind of happened on accident, actually. I was just having ice cream one time, and I told my girlfriend to take a photo of me, and I just didn't smile on it, and then I posted it, and it got such great engagement and reaction, so I just decided to kind of do it every time I got ice cream. So it kind of just caught on.
What's the favorite flavor of ice cream?
So I don't know if I have a favorite, but my go-to, if all else fails, is I like an orange creamsicle with
Ooh.
rainbow sprinkles,
Oh.
um, in a cone. I
Ooh.
always have to get a cone. I know
Oh.
some people just like to put it in a bowl or a dish, but I always try to get a cone.
Oh. Waffle, sugar, what kind? Chocolate? Like, what's up?
I love a waffle cone, but sometimes at these ice cream places, they're just like way too much extra, you
Uh-huh.
know? So I'll just get whatever regular cone, but I do love a waffle cone.
Oh, okay, okay. So I'm sure, like, well, you travel a lot pretty much. So, like, has there been somewhere that stuck out that was your favorite?
Uh, Not too long ago, Ultimo Aunt actually took me out for ice cream, and it was just like probably an 8-minute walk down from the venue in like Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just a stand, and he had never been there before either, but it ended up being really, really good.
Oh.
Cheeseburger and Rabid Ryan Mooney also came.
Mm-hmm.
I think Handsome Mac Zero. Um, but Ultimo Ant ended up paying for all of us too, which was so kind of him.
Aw.
So nice. Yeah.
There's a place here in Queens, and it's been there like forever. It's actually like a landmark, and it's one of those like generation after generation after generation pass-ons, pretty much. And like they're really known for their whipped cream that they make from scratch.
Hmm.
So I guess like sometime like you're here, like I gotta take you there, and it's cool because like they have, you know, like the original like kind of like plates and spoons and stuff, and then on the in the back side of it, it's just like really like old school ice cream parlor. And then they have like candies, things that you can't even find from
Wow.
like back then in the days. Yeah, so if you guys are listening to this podcast, you know, if you're listening to it later, you know, give some recommendations of some ice cream
Yeah,
places in the States and, you know, anywhere else
absolutely.
so he can check out. I feel like you should make a vlog.
I should.
Right.
I actually used to vlog.
Mm-hmm.
We can get into that too. I used to vlog before I was a wrestler,
Uh-huh.
in college and in high school
Mm-hmm.
too. I used to just edit my weekly doings, just hanging out with my friends and stuff. So I've thought about bringing back a vlog,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. It might be a lot with wrestling as well. You know, I commend anyone else who does it. Um, but
Well, maybe it'd be like a short TikTok series or something like that that you can do,
right,
right? Just like maybe, you know how like Jeff Cannibal has his like soda reviews?
yeah,
Pretty much maybe you
yeah,
could do something like an ice cream review. That'd be kind of
that
cool.
would be good.
That'd be kind of fun.
That,
Like, and
that's a
then you
great
just see
idea.
like random wrestlers like come into play. Like
Yeah.
here's Sad Mike. He's very sad, even though he's eating this ice cream.
Yes.
Speaking
And
of,
that's the thing
yeah, go ahead.
with the photos of me just having a deadpan face, you
Mhm.
know, showing no emotion whatsoever with the ice cream. People just automatically assume that I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm so happy on the inside. You don't have to smile like when you're happy. You can
Yeah.
also you can make any face you want and still be happy. Yeah.
Mike Skyros is the sad one. Do you know why he's so sad? Can you solve the mystery for us?
I don't. I don't even know where that came from. I just noticed like that he's sad.
I know.
Sad boy.
How do we like make him happy? We just haven't figured it out. We've tried. We tried to bring plushies. We tried to bring cookies. We tried posters.
24/7 Arby's is the key to Mike Skyros' heart.
So we're gonna throw roast beef sandwiches at him pretty much,
Roast beef.
and
And
some
curly
curly fries. They got some good curly
Yes.
fries, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
I've driven with Skyros a few times, and there's this one stop on the New York State Thruway that
Uh-huh.
has a 24/7 Arby's, and we always have to stop there.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
We see you, Mike. We see you.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I'm here for it. So, but I'll still, you know. It was funny because our friend Mike is Indeed, our friend. Shout out to him. He told me not to ask you about Core Life Eateries. So now I have to ask.
Yeah. Because he got me in trouble on his podcast.
Ooh. So he's trying to get you in trouble on my podcast next too?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, because there were some dirt sheets that took stuff out of context from the story that happened at Coraline Theater a few years ago, maybe 1 year ago or 2 years ago, I forget at this point. But Daniel Garcia, famous AEW wrestler, Daniel Garcia, accidentally choked me out in a Coraline Theater, and I spoke about it on Mike from Indeed's podcast, and then some dirt sheets just picked that up and they made it some like
Oh
headlines. But yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's okay. It blew over.
You dirt sheets are dangerous.
I know.
Dangerous.
It was
Right
like
about ice cream. About his
Yes.
TikTok series that's coming. That's what you should be
Yes.
focusing on. The good stuff. The ice cream
100%.
and the sprinkles and the whipped cream.
Yes.
and why Mike Skyros is sad. That's the important stuff here, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about wrestling. You know, we'll talk some other stuff too throughout the podcast, pretty much. So, okay, so obviously I've seen you, and we're gonna get into like some stuff that I know. But that fan that likes listening to this podcast, never seen you wrestle before, what is the go-to match that you would recommend that they should watch to become an instant fan?
Oh man. I'm in between two right now. Two of my personal favorite. Well, actually, now that I mention it, now that I'm thinking about more of my matches, maybe I'm in between three. The most recent being my match with Speedball Mike Bailey at C4 Wrestling. Shout out C4 Wrestling. Another one of the matches that instantly came to my mind was my singles match with Evil Uno. And then lastly, the one that also came to mind is one of my personal favorite matches is myself against Judas Icarus at Barry Wrestling.
Really, really good. Man, so many promotions that we could like sit here and break down, and I definitely want to talk about a whole bunch of them with you pretty much. So let's start with C4 pretty much because, C4 seems to be the spot. A lot of people in the States, like, that's the place. Like, it's been said so many times on this podcast. They do amazing things up there. The talent's great. And then I love that, bringing in, new talent, from like states or wherever to come up there. But pretty much it's a big bucket list for a lot of wrestlers like here that want to go up there. And I've seen a lot go up there, like Alec Price has been up there, Ichiban, Miracle Gen just made their debut, TJ Crawford, these are just some, Ryan Clancy, these are just some of the names that haven't like gone up there and wrestled. So talk to us some about your special moments, why C4 is so special, anything that comes to mind.
I got really lucky with C4 because ever since I made my debut there, I just kind of became a regular. Right. And I think it had to do with the fact that I was traveling with some of the Buffalo brothers, and they put in a good word for me. My debut match there was against Junior Benito, so I think that also helped because I think that match showed just two young talents just trying to put everything they got. The main event of that show, of my debut show that I was on for C4, the main event was Speedball versus Daniel Garcia. And I think that was Dan's last appearance for C4 before he started doing like everything on TV. So I think, and now look where Junior Benito's at. Like, he's getting booked everywhere. He's in Europe right now. He's coming down to the States. It's really great to see. But yeah, C4 Wrestling is great, and I love seeing some of the guys that you just listed, come up and stuff, because I'm there every month, so seeing like some New England people and people that I don't get to see all the time, it's always so fun, and it's even better when I get to see them knock it out of the park too in their debut matches. So
yeah, I bucket list for me, like definitely bucket list that I definitely want to go up there. I got to renew my passport. I didn't get a chance to like renew it during COVID, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna renew it because I'm not gonna go anywhere right now. So when I'm ready, when I can, but that is definitely the bucket list if I'm gonna come up to Canada.
But you're also a New Yorker, right?
Yeah.
So you could get an enhanced license.
Yeah, that's true
as well.
That's true.
And you could avoid the the long game with the passport.
That's
and
true.
stuff, yeah.
That is true. I like
Yeah.
do forget about that pretty much. You know, I guess when I
Yeah.
renew my license, you know, like can I? And it's cheap. And it's true. It's like, you know, I guess I always thought like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go. It's not like I haven't been to Canada before, because I have been to Canada. So I've been on the the Canadian Niagara Falls side, which is beautiful up there. It's different, you know.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to go up there, and I want my coffee crisp because McCray Martin knows. He's got to bring me them. He knows. He has to bring them. Now you got to bring them for me. They're so good. They're so good. I was just talking about it with Phil Cardigan on the podcast last week with him. So another, let's talk Barry Wrestling also. So you're a champion, the 3-pistol champion up there. And it was funny because you messaged me and I saw like the match and I was like, okay, so I didn't know about this promotion. So I'm glad that I saw like the flyer of you, Bobby Orlando, and Leo Sparrow. Again, everybody's been on this podcast, so everybody should be familiar with them as well. So Barry Wrestling is another new promotion to me. I love finding new promotions. So I definitely got to watch that. You sent me the video of, you're like, look, choke slam. And I was like, yes, choke slam championship. Let's go. And you and Bobby always says he doesn't do choke slam. He gave me one choke slam. One. And it was on Ichiban. He goes, for you, I'm going to do choke slam. And then he did it on Ichiban. Best shit ever. And then you do a double with him on Leo. Leo kind of deserved it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. 100% he deserved it. But yeah, Barry's pretty special too, because I think so. Barry's a Canadian promotion that I feel like it falls underneath people's radars. They don't really know about it. But what makes it so great is that it's just a locker room of good people and hungry talent. So you have these amazing, fantastic matches and storylines each month in Barrie, Ontario, Canada, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere outside of Toronto. And it's just inside this random church. But the crowds are like, they've been increasing in attendance and they've been staying at a good attendance level and everything. And I think it was just about a year ago that they just started putting their stuff on IWTV. So I don't think you should sleep on Barrie Wrestling. And, you know, having guys like Bobby and Leo come up now, it's like, it also helps, you know, so that's always cool to see. I remember, are you familiar with Mortar?
Yes.
Yes. So there's a Barrie show and he just randomly shows up and I'm like, well, what are you doing here? So it's just like, it's funny to see random people kind of, you know, come in. Even Judas Icarus is not a regular at Barrie, and he was in the area one weekend and he got put on the show, and happily I was able to wrestle him. And so it's just, it's so cool because you never know who you're going to get there. Sometimes there's surprises. Right. Sometimes you have Josh Alexander. Sometimes you have Jody Threat, you know. But yeah, I love Barrie Wrestling.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, another like promotion. I'm always like, I am the Queen of the Indies. I gotta try to like find out like, you know, like all the spots of what's going on, and it's great because then we can sit here, we can talk about all this stuff on this podcast, you know. And especially it helps too when, you know, you follow a particular wrestler, whatever, and then it's like, okay, so like if you come down to the States, you're like, oh, okay, like, and then they can follow you up to like C4, or like the people that are watching C4 like, oh, okay, like you're going, you know, to like NFW or something, like you're like, oh, okay, like, you know, I'm gonna check out this promotion. So it's just like a piggyback, you know, so you just find a lot of wonderful stuff. So but yeah, no, I was excited, and you know, Mota is like great. He's been on this podcast too, so if you guys want to check out that interview, that's on here as well. So, man, so many interviews. What am I at? 233. We are 233. This episode's crazy. A lot of wrestlers out there. You know, a lot of good wrestlers. So, but yeah, check that out. That's on IWTV as well. So is C4. You know, so check that. One that I definitely want to talk about. We got to talk Pro Wrestling Grind.
Of course.
Love Delmy, love Rip, amazing people over there. You guys know that they've been on this pod. So I got to see you and Ryan Clancy live, which was amazing. And it's like,
Yeah.
I felt like that was the match that really made me become like a Ryan Clancy fan.
Yeah.
Because that's how good that match was. I think that was probably like my favorite grind show.
Yeah.
Maybe it was also because it was the first one I went up to too. But every
Okay.
match was a banger on it. So if you're sleeping on a pro wrestling grind, don't.
Yeah.
But you had other matches there too. So Travis Huckabee is one. So talk to us a little bit about working grind. Some of your experiences. Who's someone you want to wrestle at grind?
I
Maybe.
I love pro wrestling grind. I've actually only wrestled there, believe it or not, only 3 times.
Yeah.
But I was on their second show ever, and that's where I wrestled Travis, and that was a great match. But I was very early on in my career, actually, so I would love to have a rematch against Travis.
Yeah.
My second match was against Cabana Man Dan, and that was fun too.
Mhm.
Most of the time, the guys that I'm wrestling are much bigger than me, but it was fun that like we were kind of the same size and everything. And then Ryan Clancy, that's also on my list of one of my favorite matches.
Yeah.
I remember like I had never met him before, and we just kind of clicked. And I remember hearing that like he used to amateur wrestle, and I also used to amateur wrestle. So for the whole beginning part of that match, if you go back and watch it, we're just shooting on each other. We're just actually like wrestling, and it's really funny because I got so blown up. I got so tired after that before we had like the whole rest of the match. But it was tons of fun, and I became such good friends with Brian Clancy after that, and I just love seeing his success. I love that he got to wrestle Zack Sabre Jr. and just like seeing him grow, like it's just so great to see because he deserves everything.
Yeah. I love the style of pro wrestling grind, like I like, it's different, shout out to Perry and Rip, like they're killing it
Yeah.
in Japan right now. Like I'm living for all the photos that they're posting and just, having the time of their life, but it's a different style, and that's what makes grind different.
Yeah.
So I like that. So again, there's so many names that like come through grind. Anybody particular, like, obviously, like you said, you'd love to run back with Travis, but who
Yeah.
else, like, is on that list? Like, oh my God, I want to go back there. I want to wrestle.
Well, Mike Skyros is
The
their
champ.
champion. I would love to wrestle Mike Skyros. I was supposed to wrestle him at NFW, and our graphic got announced, but that had to change.
Yeah.
So Mike Skyros is on there. Matt Makowski
Yeah. He's
is
back.
also on there.
Yes, he's
I
back.
just recently had a taste of Matt Makowski in a multi-man match not too long ago, so I would love to get a singles with him. Honestly, anyone there, Jay Freddy, Rip himself,
Yeah.
Perry Von Vicious, Andy Brown, Rabid Ryan Mooney. Rabid Ryan Mooney's at the top of my list. Honestly, anyone on that roster.
Yeah. It really is really like great stuff. And then like when you have wrestlers like saying it too, like it's such a great environment that they love what they're doing. The fans, like there is nothing. That was like one of the first things that was said to me when I walked into that building. That was like, there's nothing like the fans that are at Grind. So if you guys haven't gone to a Grind show, that should be on a bucket list for you guys because it's just magical.
I think one thing that stands out about Pro Wrestling Grind compared to other promotions is that you can actually like really see and feel the love that goes into that. I feel like there's quite a few other promotions that like you don't get that, but like you can feel the passion and the love in the air at those shows, which is very special.
Yeah. Speaking of special, Mike Skyros is in the chat. He said shooter.
Oh.
Damn.
Oh, man.
He knew.
I'm nervous.
You nervous?
Now. The Moonlight Sun is watching me.
Moonlight sad.
Yeah, Moonlight Sun.
Moonlight sad. Yeah, actually here. Like I actually made this for Mr. Moonlight sad.
Oh, that's so
It glows
cute.
in the dark too, so it's kind of hard to see on
That's awesome. You should
Yeah.
get that as a tattoo.
That would be kind of cool. Are you gonna tattoo that on your head, Mike? He's coming for your belt, so you can be more sad. Just so you know. But anyway, he said he's not
Yeah.
sad. I think you're a little sad. So, all right. Well, let's talk. Let's talk NFW since we brought it up here pretty much. So, shout out to Cody. He's got some great stuff. I know, unfortunately, they had to cancel the last show. But she'll be back December 1st, pretty much. So you got to work, TJ Crawford, which was like exciting for me. You got to work Austin Luke, and it was funny because like Travis Huckabee was so excited for you in Austin, and then it was funny like when I was at that show, I was tweeting at Travis. I'm like, it's on, watch it, and I was like, oh no, it wasn't live. So I was actually posting clips and tagging Travis, and I'm like, it's happening now. Here's the clip. Yeah. But the chemistry, again, like, amazing. It was just, like, really good matches if, like, if that's what you're into, like,
Austin Luke is a very good talent.
Yeah.
Very good talent. I would love to wrestle him again.
Yeah. Ooh, I feel like a scramble with, like, certain people of you guys, like you, TJ, Travis, Austin, Matt Mikowski, oh my God, Ryan Clancy. Give me this scramble.
Oh, that would be interesting.
This would be a very interesting scramble.
I feel like if that was an actual scramble, I think I would need to kind of defy expectations, and instead of like wrestle, I think I need to just introduce weapons and just start throwing spears at people.
It would be fun. No, I think it would be really, really good. But so definitely you and Austin Luke was amazing. Again, this is all on IWTV. It didn't miss at all. And again, even like you and TJ, I love TJ. Me and TJ go back a long time. And I say this all the time that I've watched TJ for years, and like he got injured. I was really sad, but he came back better. Yeah. Like he really did come back better. So you guys had, a really good match, too.
Thank you. Yeah, TJ's amazing. He's another person that I love to see in like having success. Like any place. Like I loved it when he came up to C4 and I got to see him there. TJ was actually one of the first people to ever actually talk to me and give me like a real full-on conversation when I was just a trainee going to shows trying to help out and stuff. And he was on the show and he took the time out of his day to actually like talk to me and have a conversation, and I never forgot that.
Aw. Shout out to TJ. So
yeah.
But so hopefully you'll be back for NFW, like great roster there too. There's a lot of people there that like I'd love to see you wrestle, so I'm looking forward to what could happen over there. A lot of great people. So hey, BRG's the champion over there too. I mean, I love to see that.
Yeah,
you need to start collecting some belts.
I know. I've only had one my entire career. I feel like I need to have more. I just challenged Alec Price in a 4-way for the IWTV title, and I came up short. So I need some other belts or something.
Yeah. But that's premiering tonight. So after this podcast, you guys can watch that match. It's at 8:00 on IWTV. So I'm looking forward to the C4. Let's see. Emmanuel's in the chat. He goes, I may have missed it, but where is he wrestling next? Also, does he have an Instagram? So, go ahead.
I do have Instagram. It's at Myung Jae 98. That's MYUNG JAE 98. And where am I wrestling next? I think my next show is Barry Wrestling on November 4th. This upcoming weekend, I'm taking a break. It's my birthday this weekend, so I'm gonna chill out and relax my body,
Well, happy birthday! Happy early birthday!
Thank you.
Hi, Mike. Mike is indeed in the chat. What is going on? Go give him some love too. So he said he's a big fan.
Oh, great. That's good to know.
Sammy Diaz is in the chat. What's up? He said, my guy.
I love Sammy Diaz. I just saw him the other day at Blitzkrieg in Vermont, actually, and he had a banger with Andy Brown. It was awesome. It was the main event. It was so good.
Yeah. Oh man, that's that's so awesome. I love you guys. Thank you for coming into the chat. Chad says, "Can't wait to see that match tonight on IWTV." See, they're ready. They're ready for this.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, C4 always, always has great stuff. John in the chat just said, "Any Alec Price stories?" Now you could throw him under the bus right now.
I don't have too many. He was my first match outside of my own wrestling gym, actually.
Oh wow.
So you know, when you're training and stuff, you train with a lot of the same people, you wrestle a lot of the same people, but yeah, at a Limitless student showcase, I got to wrestle Alec in a one-on-one. And now look at his success now, and look at where I am. Not anywhere near that. But,
no, don't
man,
say that.
Yeah. I love Alec. It's great to see him succeed too. He's great. He's great.
Definitely, much love to him. I gotta bring him back on this podcast. Definitely. Yeah. So we're kind of like, dude. Emmanuel said he followed. So yeah, all his links are in the description below for you guys. So I got you guys covered. You know, we'll talk about everything that he's got coming up at the end of the show also. So let me know if there's any other questions you guys got. We can ask. So yeah. So let's talk about also too. You got to be part of like AEW Rampage. That's insane. So tell us, like, I love hearing these stories, like, from you guys, like, especially like when AEW was like, on YouTube, like everyone was watching, on YouTube pretty much, and seeing a lot of independent guys get on there. So I'd love to hear those experiences from you guys.
Of course. I mean, so the first time I did extra work for AEW, I was like a production assistant, and I got big booted by Big Bill, that's his name, right? I almost said his former name, but yeah, I got big booted down the ramp, and that was fun. But then this last time that I did extra work, I was able to be on Rampage in a tag match against the Kingdom, which was very cool, even though it was like under a minute. But it was just very cool because it was in Albany, New York, and I had like family in the crowd, and so they were there, and it was like the arena that I grew up watching shows in and stuff. So like that was all very cool and very surreal, even if it was only like for a minute, And I think my favorite part about being out there was that I could actually like see other fans in the crowd, and they knew who I was, which is crazy because I feel like I'm a nobody, but it was cool to see some fans that I recognized from other shows, and even seeing the tweets after, like from the people just live, since it was taped. But like some fans still tweeted that like they saw me, they knew who I was, and that was great to see,
Yeah. It was a little nerve-wracking too, a little bit, like, to have this experience that like you're coming out like a bigger like platform than what you're used to. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, so I was in a tag match, so my partner was Hayden Backlund. And Hayden and I, it's interesting because now we're starting to travel together and stuff, but we never actually really trained together, which is funny because in my debut match, he actually reffed my debut match, ever. So it's funny, and it's really cool to see us kind of do things. Yeah, because the first time we did AEW extra work, we were also Dalton Castle's boys. Mm-hmm. So having it be like a whole year later and getting to team on Rampage was very cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. So that makes me so happy for you guys that like have those experiences, you know, and just like that feeling and family and friends and fans like being there like, oh, you know, like I've been to like shows and I'm like, oh my God, like TJ Crawford was on and I was like, ah, that's TJ, you know, like that's
Yeah.
awesome. It was like, you know, so I get really excited for you guys. Let me give some love in this chat. Everything pro wrestling. He goes, yeah, what's going on, Conrad? Go give him some love. He's got you covered with AEW, WWE. He's got Clash of the podcast and all that fun stuff. So give him love. Raiden Bombs in the chat. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for joining in here. Emmanuel says it's awesome to see fans to be like, oh snap, it's him. So yeah.
And it's even cooler for me though. It's even cooler that like people remember who I am for some reason.
Yeah. Well,
Like I'm very grateful.
we all have the same thought here, right? Like we all love wrestling, you know? So to see that and like, you know, you being a fan growing up watching wrestling and then to like actually be on that platform and experience that, you know, and be like associated, like working the extra work and being around people that you may have knew like before they got signed or even people you looked up to.
Yes. 100%.
Amazing. Did you get like anything like critiques, any like great advice from like being over there?
I mean, I got a fist bump from Tony Khan, so that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. All right, let's see. So we got a fan tweet here. Shout out to Good Cop, Bad Cop. He goes, Myung Jae Lee being an anagram of My June Eagle. Could you either tell us a wrestling story from this June or a story about a bird or prey?
I saw that tweet.
He
and
messes
I
with
wasn't
everybody.
I wasn't sure how to like answer that, but I mean, I guess in June, I wrestled Puff 3 times, 3 separate weekends in the month of June this past year.
Oh, wow.
So that was interesting. Just because I travel with Puff all the time, so like during all 3 matches, like they were all very different, but we were just beating the crap out of each other because you know we ride together all the time.
Yeah.
So it was probably fun to get a little frustration out, for whenever Puff has to make a stop for 20 minutes at a rest stop, just so he can order food or so he can go to the bathroom for a very long time, way longer than needed because he's just on his phone. So, it was cool to just hit him around and stuff.
Like, this is for making us stop here and use the restroom more. This is because you put this in my food. Pop.
Yes, exactly.
Shout out to Puff. I love it. I just saw him recently too. He's awesome. Actually, he's the thumbnail of the NFW Indie Talks that him and Rip Bison are doing choke slams to each other.
Nice.
So you can check out that pretty much. All right. So who are some wrestlers that you would like to wrestle that you haven't yet? So you got to put it out there.
Interesting. Travis Williams. He's from the West Coast. He's Judas Icarus's tag team partner. I would like to wrestle him. I'm trying to think. Austin Luke was up at the top of that list, and I just recently wrestled him,
Right.
so that was cool. I kind of mentioned this before, Matt Mikowski. I'm trying to think of other wrestlers that I want to wrestle. I've got a ton, but for right now, I'm blanking on them for some reason.
I put you on the spot.
Rabid Ryan Mooney, 100%. Rabid Ryan Mooney, I would love to wrestle. Trying to think. Oh, Daniel Makabe.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because he's all the way on the West Coast too. But I remember he came into C4 and wrestled Marcus Mathers. Marcus Mathers is also on my list. But I remember talking to Daniel Makabe in the balcony, and I would love to wrestle him. Who else? Lee Moriarty. That's a big one on my list. If I get him on a Saturday to do an indie, I think that would be cool. I would love to wrestle Lee.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that would be like an ETU kind of match right there that I would like happen. I'm putting it into the universe.
That's a cool promotion.
Yeah, definitely. Does some great shit over there. I like that. So shout out to Ryan, struggles. Let's see. Emmanuel says, would you ever do a death match? Ooh.
Maybe. I don't know. It depends. But maybe. I won't put it off the table. I'd for sure do like a hardcore match, but death match is like a next level thing, so I'm not entirely sure. I'm good friends with Josh Bishop, and he's an insane person. He just loves all of that stuff, so.
Interesting.
And when I was wrestling Austin Luke at NFW, he had a shard of glass that wasn't fully coming out. So I was so scared that it was going to come out during the match and like cut me up. So I don't know. Maybe I'll hold off on the death matches because I don't want that.
It's a lot, like I love my death match people pretty much. I give a lot of credit. There's a lot of people like Austin Luke. There's somewhere like on the channel somewhere that I'm like yelling at Austin and I'm like, no more death matches, and then boom, then another death match happens. I'm like, I told you no more death matches. I was like, you don't need to do them, like, So and of course, like I love deathmatch wrestling, but I just feel like certain people just shouldn't, So, but if you're gonna do it, I feel like like it's got to mean something. I think if you're gonna do it, it should be like a blow off of like a feud. I feel like for you, if you would do it, I wouldn't want you just to go do like a random death match. I feel like it would have to be.
I really want to have a hair versus hair match or a hair versus mask match.
Oh, okay.
But I would want that to be like a big blow off or something, or something that actually has meaning,
Yeah.
But I do really want to do one of those.
Oh, okay. Mike, you in the chat still? I'm here for that.
Which Mike? Me versus Mike Skyros or Mike from Indeed?
Oh. Shout out Mike and San Mike. I love it. Okay, give us one of your best road trip stories.
Trying to think. I mean, I guess this is more of a wholesome road trip story, but recently it was Puff's birthday, and me and this guy named Isaiah Prince, who's also from the Buffalo area, trainer grapplers, we had a show in Hamilton, Ontario Friday night, and Puff and Hayden were coming from a show in London, Ontario, and they're like an hour and a half away. But they had a show on Saturday in Hamilton, so we all just got, a hotel room. And because Saturday it was Puff's birthday, we all just hung out, and it was just like one of the best hangout sessions. Like the entire hotel was pretty much empty, so we were just yelling, kinda. But yeah, it was just a good hangout sesh, just because so often we're just like scooped into cars. We get to the show, we get right back in the car and go home. But like it was nice to finally just like relax, hang out, and we always bust each other's balls and stuff, and we joke around a lot on the road, but like we actually got deep. We got deep in that hotel room, having some nice, meaningful conversations. So that's a more wholesome one. I'm sorry if that's
that's fine.
Looking for, but yeah.
No, that's fine. I like the wholesome ones. I like wholesome stuff. Then actually it'll segue into my next question pretty much. But no, that's great. I mean, we've had the crazy stories about pizza being thrown out the car windows, and all sorts of crazy stuff like that.
I will say, the first time I did NFW, I drove with Yane Harrison, Junior Benito, and Hot Stepper McCrae Martin, and that was a good time because Yane was so, like, I think it was one of his first times in America, and he was like so blown away by the ginormous American flags just hanging as you were driving, and he was like, American flag there, and And after the NFW show, I took them to Olive Garden
Uh-huh.
for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had never had Olive Garden
Mm-hmm.
before, and I mean to us it's just it's Olive Garden, but to
Yeah,
them they're
yeah.
like it's Olive
It's the
Garden.
unlimited breadsticks and like
Yeah,
unlimited salad. Like to me, it's a sin because I'm Italian, so I feel like that's just a sin. Like I want real Italian, you know. And that's like
yeah,
my grandmother's like yelling at me if like go to like Olive
yeah,
Garden, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, they're like the
yeah,
unlimited breadsticks and the salad.
yeah, yeah,
We'll get him a gift card, you know, like for that. I love that.
yeah.
Shout out to those guys. Those guys are great. Um,
Oh, absolutely.
all right, so let's do something that's special on my podcast, Wrestling with Positivity. You know, just so you guys know, also too, is I put out a post too. So if anybody's interested, message me. Wrestling with Positivity again is like very important because there's so much negative, and I like to focus on the positive. There's so many amazing stories. You guys can check it out on the channel too. I have 3 videos up. I ask this question on every podcast, but I open it up to promoters, wrestlers, fans, parents, all that stuff. So if you have stories, amazing, you know, stories, hit me up. I want that. You know, I'm gonna have it out by Thanksgiving. So we're going to ask you this. So is there anything particular that, you know, stands out, whether something that maybe a wrestler's done for you, maybe a fan's done for you, maybe something you've done for a fan, maybe something that you've done for a wrestler, anything particular that, you know, we wouldn't know unless you would share with us?
I mean, so there's this fan at C4 who ends up helping out every single show, and his name is Matt or Matty,
Mm-hmm.
and he one of the first times that I ever wrestled at C4, he makes these nice sculptures of wrestlers and gifts them to them, and he also makes posters,
Yep.
and but he helps out selling the merch and stuff, and he's just one of the best fans in the world, and it makes me going up to Ottawa each month like that much special. Like I look forward to seeing Maddie specifically. And I love it when, like, for example, Miracle Generation just went up. He made some, you know, figures for them and posters for them too. So it's like, it's so cool to see, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Yeah. He's definitely someone that I
yeah,
want to do this Wrestling with Positivity video with because that's just amazing that he takes his time out and does this and his artwork and all the stuff that he does. So shout
hmm,
out to him. So that's so cool. I like seeing his photos like with all you guys like when he sees you.
yeah,
And the you know the the figures that he makes and stuff like that's so awesome. So that's so cool.
yeah,
So shout out to Maddie. Let's see. Wrestling is just one big crazy family. That it is. It definitely is. Captain
yeah.
Dave, what's going on, Captain Dave? How are you? Hope all is well. So I have 2 final questions for you. If you guys have anything else, please feel free, drop it into the chat. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty of 2023. Pretty much, it's insane, right? I can't
Yeah,
believe like
yeah.
it's just nuts. So any goals that you'd like to reach before the end of the year?
Um, Not before the end of the year. Just I guess just wrestle as much as I can
Mm-hmm.
and as best as I can. Like just put out really good matches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's I'm trying to just get to consistent good
Mm-hmm.
goodness level, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Um, because personally, as a wrestler, it's uh it's interesting because like some fans may say that you have a really good match, but deep down as a wrestler, you know that it was like a stinker and stuff. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just trying to get to a level that I'm happy with and content with. So if I could just have great matches for the rest of 2023, I'd be very happy, you know.
Yeah, no, you've had some
Yeah.
really great matches, you know. So, you know, like I'm glad that, you know, I got to find you. I'm glad I got to see you in person. I love like, you know, when I find people, like I love to kind of see them in person, like finally, and have those matches. And like I said, like, you know, the first match that I got to see you like in the States was Ryan Clancy, you know. So I'm glad that that was my first match that I got to see, you know, in person. You know, it's definitely up there. for me. Again, you and Austin Luke, you and TJ, like, there's just so much. So don't be hard on yourself, but like every wrestler on this podcast says the same thing. And, at least you care, right? Like, because if you weren't hard on yourself, then you wouldn't care. So, yeah. So my last question is, I kind of always like to close it off this way. We have fans that may be thinking of getting into wrestling, or fans that started training, whatever it is. What's a piece of advice that you would give them?
Stop now and get out now.
No!
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You all joke around about that on this pod. Don't do that. I'm only kidding.
I guess just, try to stay positive and don't try to compare your journey to anyone else's journey. Because I know it's so hard, and especially in wrestling, seeing your peers like accelerate at a level that like might be way faster than you. But also don't like compare yourself to someone that's not doing as good as you either, because then that'll go to your head and you'll think that you're better when you're really not, So I guess just stay humble, and just be a good person. Like don't be an asshole. Help out, say hi to everyone. Wrestling can really like lead to good things in your life and good relationships in your life, but only if you let it, like some of my good friendships like from wrestling, like I get to talk to them every day, or like we share TikToks and stuff. Like Mike Skyros, for example, he sends me TikToks all the time. I don't even open up TikTok all the time, but I'll open it up and I'll have TikToks from like Mike Skyros, Puff, this guy Anthony Musso, so it's like, so I guess to new people, just like have fun with it, be a good person, try to make friends, yeah, and just try to stay positive. It's a mental game. Wrestling is a mental game.
Yeah. So, I give you guys a lot of credit, and like, if it's not said enough, thank you for, putting your body through, our entertainment, pretty much. You guys do a lot. I couldn't do it. So I give you guys a lot of credit. So thank you for entertaining us. Thank you for dealing with our silliness and all that shit, especially me. Hello, Jimmy. What's up, Jimmy? What's going on? He goes, you're welcome. Ref Jimmy's in chat. Emmanuel says, that's very helpful. I'm getting trained now, and that's good advice. See, this is why we do these interviews pretty much. So thank you for, all that. So, yeah, so tell us, what you got coming up. I have some graphics here. So, but yeah, tell everybody, because I know if like they want to come follow you, and then we'll get into all your socials after. So,
I've got Barry Wrestling coming up, Crossbody Pro Wrestling, C4 Wrestling, and I think Black Label Pro in December. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that yet, but Black Label Pro. And then a few other things that I don't know if I can say, but yeah, I'm looking forward to closing out 2023 pretty strong. So
yeah. So tell everybody where they could follow you, merch, all that fun stuff, if they're not following you already.
You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at MyungJae98. That's MyungJae98. And for merch, see me at a show or DM me. I need to get new shirts. I've had the same old design for a while, so I really need to get on that. I know.
That's okay. Get out there, buy his stuff, go follow his socials. Everything's all linked into the descriptions below to make it easier for you guys if you want to. Go say hi, buy the merch, all that good stuff. So, but yeah, so thank you for coming on here, chatting with us a little bit. Bring him ice cream.
Yes. Or since my birthday's coming up, and I've seen other wrestlers do this where they tweet like, oh, I like this thing, and it's my birthday weekend or whatever, bring me this thing, and then they get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was so hesitant, but I really wanted to, but then I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm just asking people for things, but if anyone wants to bring me gifts, I love Fruit by the Foot and Starburst minis. Like
Oh,
those are like when I'm not wrestling and I've got a few days before I have to wrestle, I eat like a pig. I just eat everything. Like I don't know. But yeah, I also love ice cream too. So, but I'd be worried that if fans brought ice cream to the show, it
it'll
would
melt.
just melt.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Skittles
Yeah.
and all that fun
Yeah.
stuff. Watch, it's gonna happen now because I've seen it happen on this podcast too.
Yeah.
I've seen between wine bottles and Twix bars and Kit Kats and all the crazy things. It's happened. So we're putting it out into the universe. So
Yes.
happy early birthday, pretty much.
Thank you.
But thank you again. Like I appreciate that you came on here chatting with us for a little bit.
course.
I will definitely see you soon at an upcoming show. So definitely go check out his work if you haven't already. So, but yeah, Jimmy says I never get beer at the shows. What the hell, Jimmy? Like, yeah,
That's a good thing to ask for, though.
bring the beers. Anyway, thank you guys for all your questions, all your fun games and all that stuff like that. Shout out to Good Cop, Bad Cop with messing with everybody on this podcast too. I appreciate it. I will be back next week. The Lost Boys will be on here, so you can check them out if you haven't. So shall be fun podcast. But yeah, and hit me up about my wrestling positivity. So you guys know the drill. Stay safe. Support independent wrestling. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.